Hi everyone! Welcome to episode 18 of Franklin Fiber, my knitting, spinning, dyeing, fiber goodness podcast. I'm Julie. I'm going to say my real name first this time. I'm Julie, also known as Lovey Lamb on Ravelry and Instagram. That's Loveeelamb. And yeah, if you haven't watched the podcast before, welcome. And if you have watched it before, hi, welcome back. And my sincerest apologies for yet another, 2 or 3 week break in recording. Very sorry. Sometimes life gets in the way. Honestly, I have had every intention of maintaining a weekly schedule, and I just fell short this week or last week. I actually did every single day for the past 14 days. I have had my alarm set to 5:45 so that I would get up early enough to be able to record before I actually had to start my day. And every single one of those days, I have snoozed or reset my alarm. So I'm sorry. It's not that sleep is more important than doing my podcast. It's just that in a half awake state, sleep becomes of paramount importance. Um, so sorry. I'm gonna get better, I promise. Mostly because this is going to be the last time that you'll be seeing this background, I believe, for quite some time. I did move into an apartment with my husband in Asbury Park, New Jersey. That was yesterday. That was a fun day. So that's part of yet another reason why I didn't have time to record. And so everything is in boxes over there. And so I'm not totally moved in yet, but everything, all my furniture and all my belongings are over there. All my yarn is still here. This is my mom's house that I'm at. So that's why I'm recording here. And so now that I'll be over there, my hope is that I'll kind of have more control over the environment. Usually the reason why I end up not recording when I'm scheduling my recording is because, there's other people in the house and they need to use the space, and I'm not going to kick someone off the porch or, or out of the living room because I want to record this podcast. It's not that you're not as important. It's just that I, want to respect everyone else, namely my mom and her friends. So anywho, I will be in my own place with just my husband to contend with, and I am perfectly comfortable kicking my husband out of a room. Just kidding. I love him. But it's also true. So anyway, I'm trying to get onto a more rigid schedule so that you will all, anyone who's still watching, will know, when it is that they can expect to see another episode launch. And I'm hoping that it's Sundays. That's my plan. I have off on Sundays. So Sundays and Mondays, I'm not, are generally my open days. So one of those days will be the day that I actually get to record. So yeah, that's the long spiel. Sorry if you haven't watched before and you're just like, why is she going on forever about her recording schedule? If you look back at the old episodes, you'll see that it's a little haphazard. Anyway, yeah, so here I am recording outside at my mom's house at the Jersey Shore in the gloaming, in the twilight hour. It's a bit late, so hopefully it doesn't get too dark and hopefully the colors will actually show up on my recording. Anyway, okay, let's get down to the brass tacks, which is wool. So I haven't been totally idle, even though I haven't been recording. And my work in progress is going to look annoyingly familiar. I know it does to me. It's that damn dirty clown sock. Here's the one that I finished a long time ago, too long ago. This is supposed to be for my little sister. It is just a plain vanilla sock out of Patton's Croy in the rusty stripes color. And there's something about that name that should have clued me off that this is going to look a little bit fugly, I think might be the word. But I'm going to keep going with it because I started it and I'm going to finish it, god damn it. And I need to give my little sister some socks. And she's probably, I was envisioning that I would give these to her. She's a outdoorsy type and she likes to hike. So these can go into her hiking boots. and I don't think she needs to really impress the squirrels and the chipmunks with her style. But anyway, it's it's not that bad. I'm just like, it's just not what I expected looking at the yarn in this game. It's just a little bit carnival-y. Again, I don't know. This is definitely someone's style. It actually might be my little sister's style. It's just not my style. I don't wear a lot of bright colors. Hello, if you watch the show, I've pretty much only ever worn black and blue, occasionally white. That's my whole wardrobe. So anyway, it's not me. But it's cute. Okay, back to what is this sock? It's a vanilla sock with a wedge toe and an afterthought wedge heel. I did split that black stripe very well, if you ask me, because I usually mess things like that up. And picked it and started it with a thin black stripe so it actually looks like the correct width. You get what I'm saying? This stripe was a wide one. These ones are short ones. You can see it like that one there. So I started on one of those, and it ended up looking like a wide stripe. Oh no, wait, I started on this one. It's like a half stripe. See it? Whatever. You dig. 2x2 rib for the whole cuff so that it stays up, because when you're hiking, there's nothing more annoying than socks that keep bunching up around your ankles. There it is. That's the done one. You've already seen that. I've talked about it too long. Here's the one that I'm working on. You can see I put in the waste yarn for that afterthought heel, splitting that stripe. I did start them at the same place. It wasn't difficult because both skeins, it takes 2 skeins to make 2 pairs of socks using this yarn. And both skeins started at around the same place. I picked them out. I bought them at Joann's, Michael's, one of those. And I did pick out 2 skeins that looked like they'd started at about the same place. And I was pretty close. So there you go. Here's my yarn and the ball. I made a ball because the, it's wound up into one of those oblong skeins, balls, and it was kind of coming apart. So I just went ahead and made a little ball. So yeah, they're coming along. I will finish them eventually. Oh, what am I knitting these on? I don't know. I'm going to go with a US 1.5. I can always almost read it. It's 2.5 millimeters. US 1. 32 inch. These are Addi Turbo laces, and you will never be able to see this if I hold it up. Maybe you can. But they do write on the cable the needle size. It's just very difficult to read. So ones. Knitting those on ones. 64 stitches. And there's nothing else in here. Okay. That's actually my only active work on the needles right now, which is very unusual for me and won't last very long. But that's because I did finish some things. So, numero uno is behind my camera. Okay. This is the iBlink shawl. I finally finished it. Ah, it's so beautiful, and I love it. It makes me want to sing. Okay. Here it is. I'll try to hold it back here so you can, I'm never going to get the whole thing in here. Get tip to tip. It is almost my entire wingspan. It's a little shorter than me. I'd say it's about 5 feet long. Sorry to shook the camera. I'd say it's 5 feet from tip to tip. Makes a good camouflage disguise. Could be a Halloween costume. Actually, be great as like part of a witch costume. Anyway, here it is. iBlink, which is a pattern by Heidi Alander, knit on 7s out of fingering weight yarn. So, and I followed the pattern exactly, except that the pattern does say you can stop the stockinette portion at any point and start the lace. And I did that. I kind of randomly decided, okay, I'm bored with stockinette. I want to start the lace now. And so I got, it's supposed to be 2 pattern repeats and then the final chart for the edging. And I did 3 repeats. You can see like those oblong shapes. There's 3 of them and then sort of a half of one. So I did manage to get 3 repeats, and I was playing yarn chicken big time at the end. With the last chart is I think a 6 row, so 12, back and forth because every other row is a rest row in this lace pattern. And this is the amount of yarn that I had left at the end of it, which across all of these stitches, I didn't even count them, I don't know how many there are, this wouldn't even go across once. So I got it down to the very last row. This yarn is it's hand dyed that I made maybe a month ago, 2 months ago. It is the base is the Knit Picks Stroll fingering, which comes in 465 yard skeins, I believe, the bare that they sell, which is a pretty good deal if you ever wanted to just experiment with dyeing your own yarn. And I dyed it, it's a purplish black. I don't think the purplish is exactly coming up, with these little flecks of white throughout. And I love how the flecking, the effect that gave, which you can't really see. There we go. It kind of reminds me of what is it called, the Celesterium? Like the those night sky, those round pictures of the night sky with every star on it. That's kind of the effect that or maybe static TV. One of the two. But I just love the way it came out. See, I can kind of see constellations in there. Is that just me being crazy? Maybe. See, the top edge has this nice, it's a crescent-shaped shawl. So you get this nice top edge here, and then the lace over here. And isn't that the prettiest? As I was blocking it, because it was a blocking, not a chore, but it was a big blocking job. And I used my lace blocking wires, which are a godsend if you don't have them and you've ever done lace or shawls like this. They are a huge help. So I had to use like 7 wires, but I got the whole thing out nice and straight. And anyway, while I was blocking it, I had Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, the Cher song, stuck in my head, because it kind of looks like something that a gypsy would wear, or a witch, or a Spanish dancer. I shouldn't have worn black, because now you're not going to actually be able to see it. But it does lay really nicely. You could see that. I don't know. It just kind of has this like a nice little drape to it. This is a great angle for me. But then the lace just makes this nice little sleeve. Yeah, that looks pretty. Or you can do I'm covering up my mic. You can kind of do the wrap. And that's pretty too. Or, sorry, I'm sure this is making a big clicky noise on the mic. I had to take them off. Hang on. Well, now, again, I'm wearing black, so you can't actually see the lace, but it does drape really nicely. Maybe I'll keep it on. It's getting a little chilly. More coffee. Finished object number 1. My eye blink shawl. Heidi Alander. I highly recommend it. There was one issue, I actually didn't write it in my notes yet, and I will. The last row of the pattern, of the chart pattern, the first lace chart, words, if you have stitch markers to keep your place, they move. And that threw me for a loop on the last episode I talked about it. But once I did kind of go back and read my lace and figure out that, the moving stitch markers wasn't a mistake, that's how it's supposed to go, then it was very smooth. Okay, so, yay. And now I have another finished object too. This it's a little too dark to really see it. This is the Bray hat. It's a pattern by Jared Flood. It's a pay-for pattern. That last one was free. This is one of the BT Brooklyn Tweed patterns. This was from fall 2013. And it's a worsted weight toque, knit on 5s and 8s. Actually, it's 4 5s and 8s if you do the tubular cast on, which I didn't do because I couldn't find my 4s, so I just did a regular one. There we go. So it's a beautiful cabled pattern, cable and lace, although, see the lace in there? I actually did them wrong. If you're going to make this pattern, I would highly recommend that you read through the chart notes thoroughly before you start knitting on the chart, because there were yarn overs marked on the chart, and I thought, I know how to do a yarn over. I'm not going to have to read about how to do that. But they're actually special yarn overs. I mean, they change depending on what the next stitch is. So I didn't do it that way. And I went to change it halfway through, and it just looked like a mess. Looked like I made a big mistake. So I just ripped back and made the wrong way the whole way. Anyway, if you look at the charts, you'll see what I mean. So yeah, it's a pretty cable. I added the pom-pom that's not in the pattern, and it's nice and long. I made this out of, do you remember last episode, I think, or the one before? The one before. I showed you I had dyed up. I was trying out some dyeing techniques that made sense in my head, and I wanted to see if they really worked. And this was my ombre skein. It's a green skein. I named it. I'm a namer of things. I just love naming things. So I named my color, and I call it Made to Love Magic because I was listening to Nick Drake when I dyed it, but also because it's like magic. Seriously, if you've never dyed your own yarn, give it a shot because it's a lot of prep, and it's intimidating. And if you're using acid dyes, which is what I use, it's actually toxic as well. But as long as you keep your wits about you, use common sense, follow safety, instructions, and keep every work surface covered with plastic because it'll just stain everything. Anyway, I don't mean to intimidate you out of doing it, because what I was going to say is that it's like magic when you dye yarn. It is so cool. And this technique was like magic. As I was making it, I was like, oh my God, is this working? I don't know. Is it working? You're standing over a steaming pot, like a cauldron, wearing your witchy lace. No, I wasn't wearing this. But it's kind of like magic. So anyway, Made to Love Magic. And it's a pretty forest green at the bottom. And then it fades up. It's not quite coming out as nice as I hope. It does have places where you can see where the dye was, where I changed over the dyeing, which is gives it the ombre effect. So it does have little steps, I guess I'd call them, but I don't mind because I think it's really cool. So that's the color on top, sort of a minty green, and then it goes down to a forest green. And this is an alpaca merino blend, all sourced in the US, which is important to me. And it's really cute. Okay, it's slouchy. Can you see it? Yeah, with my little pom-pom. I think it's adorable. I can't wait for it to get cold so I can wear it. Where I moved to is on the beach, near the beach. So it's going to be cold and wet in the winter. So a nice warm merino alpaca toque is exactly what the doctor ordered. So that's it from the back. Hopefully you can see it. Anyway, I'm obsessed. I think it is like the coolest thing ever. And I'm really proud of myself because I made this. I mean, I didn't spin it, but I did all like the cool part. No, wait, spinning's cool too. Sorry. Let's talk about spinning. So anyway, Bray hat or Bray cap, or ombre cap, as I called it in my pattern. That's what I named my project. Get it? Ombre, whatever. By Jared Flood. I think it was like $5 or $6. It's worth it because it's a cute hat, and I'll totally make it again. It'll be a good gift for someone. So, finished. Spinning. Spinning is boring. I'm going to go through it fast because you've already seen this, and you've already seen what it looks like finished. So this is the second 4 ounces of my Crown Mountain Farms Falkland top in the Walpurgis colorway, which is a Halloween reference. I think it's the day before or the day after Halloween. Day before, maybe, like Mischief Night? I don't know. It's also a Black Sabbath reference, but it does relate to Halloween, and I'm totally feeling the Halloween spirit now, so I think that's fitting. I did spin some more on this, and that's what I did, and that's really boring, because you can watch the old episodes and see it already. All right, no, I'll just show you real fast. See it spinning up, not super, super fine. It came out, I think I was saying it was like a worsted weight. I already did the other 4 ounces, and it came out beautiful, and I'm excited for it to be done. But I haven't gotten a lot of time to spin on it. So that's that. And now let us move on to dyeing, because I did some more of that too. It's been a while, you guys, so I got a lot done. First, also on that same alpaca merino blend, I got a good deal on it, so I got a bunch. I did this, which is like, it's so pretty to me. It's these pastel, I call it like a watercolor effect. And I'm really, I did this once before on a big jumbo wool yarn, and I wanted to see what it would look like on this more ecru alpaca. And I think it's so pretty. I just love it. So yeah, so it's tan mostly, and then also blues and pinks in little kind of random places. Let me show it to you out of that. Okay. So again, I'm sorry, the color, I mean, yeah, that's coming out kind of true. Sorry, the light here is getting bluer, so that's kind of annoying. I'm trying to go fast, guys. Yeah, it's pretty. Watercolory. I really like it. So that was number one. Number two, it looked like Barbie in my kitchen because I was playing with some hot pink. This is fluorescent pink. It's actually fluorescent, as in it will glow in a dark light. And I'm sorry, it's actually like freaking out the camera. These are not looking as different as they are. This is actually quite light pink in reality. This is actually like a magenta, like highlighter magenta in reality. You can sort of see like the color on the top here. That looks like the whole skein. This really bright section, that's just the camera not knowing what to do with fluorescence. So just look at the tops. That's what they look like. And I really want to combine these. These were actually leftover dye stock that I had and I wanted to use up. So I want to combine them into, there was a cowl that I made a few months ago, like way while ago, in April, I think. It was like a big chunky weight kind of chevron cowl that I was making up the pattern for. And I know I never actually released that pattern or even typed it up. I have my notes on it, so I wanted to make it again and make sure that my notes make sense so that I can actually type it up. So yeah, that's a little closer down there. So yeah, Barbie girl. And then what those were left over from, sorry, got a whole lot of face there. What those were left over from was another ombre experiment. So again, the ombre doesn't look as ombre because that pink is not, the light pink's not showing up. So you can sort of see this, no, that back there, this little triangle back here, sort of lighter. That is closer to the real color. Oh, bummeranskis. There, that sort of works. You can see, at least see the light color next to the dark color, and then an ombre is between them. Yeah, that looks a little closer. So yeah, it's a pink, it's a fluorescent pink ombre, which is so cool. And what I was trying to do this time was I wanted to dye 2 identical skeins of that. This is again that same alpaca. Is that going to work? Yeah, you can sort of see it there. So that center is the light pink and it gradients out to this dark magenta. And what I wanted to do, I did it like this so that you could actually, so I could see and you could see, and it's exciting. The actual ombre-ness, which doesn't come out in this game. So I did this because I really want to make a pair of boot socks or slippers that are both ombre in the same way. So I want them to be, you start on the, like the toe would be the darkest pink. And I'll do them toe up because I want to use up all of it so I can keep knitting. So toe up where it's starting on the outside of this, right? Yeah, starting on the outside of this, going up through the foot and do like a really cable design like this. I really like the way cables look in this ombre. So cable up the, up the foot and then just keep going. I don't know if they would, these are 175 yards of a worsted weight, so they'd be worsted weight socks. Maybe more like house slippers or something like that out of this nice warm merino alpaca. And so I had that idea and I really wanted to do that. And part of the reason why I dye yarn is to get things that I can't find otherwise or that are too expensive for me to get otherwise. And matching ombre skeins fit that category. So now I have 2, and I'm going to try doing them 2 at a time because I've never done that before. So we'll see. That's my not next project, but it's on the horizon for winter. I actually have a project that I have to do first. That's all the dyeing. That's all the stuff that I did. Now let's look at the stuff that I want to do. So I put in I think I mentioned last week, opening my box. I mentioned last week that I have a friend of my mother-in-law commissioned a baby sweater from me. And we went back and forth for a while on, you know, the color, the yarn, the pattern, and what we settled on was she really wanted something made out of an organic material. So we decided on Spud and Chloe sweater, which is an organic cotton and merino blend, and superwash, so it'll be soft and washable, which is a nice combo. And we picked a pattern, and it's the braided cable cardigan. I actually don't have that pulled up, so I don't know who made it, but if you just search braided cable cardigan, it's a pretty generic name, so you might also want to key in for babies. And it's a little collared. The sample that they have photographed is in light blue. They don't know the gender of the baby for this particular project, so we went with a green. And it's a collared cardigan with braided cables that run up it, and I'll just work up a matching hat from that too. So I ordered my yarn from websyarn.com, and I'm so happy with it. So I got 3 skeins of Spud and Chloe sweater in the turtle colorway, which is color 7514, in case you're wondering, and it's really soft, and it's not quite as pastel as that. It's more like a Kelly, I would say, like a Kelly green, or a leaf green. Just a nice color for a baby. It's cheerful. We were originally going to go with like a hunter green, but it's cheerful, it's fun. The baby is due in September, and I'm making a 6-month size, so hopefully he or she will be able to wear it through the winter and on Christmas or near Christmas. Anyway, it's festive and fun, and I'm really excited to get started on that, but I wanted to show you. I just got this the other day. So that's my next project, and it has to be, which is fine. But, I was making an order from Webs, and somehow some other things jumped into my cart. I don't know how that happened. Weird. Oops. So there was one more skein that I also had ordered, which was a Halloween type color, not themed, but the colors were like black and gray and orange, and I got that too. And I don't want to I'm not trying to bash Webs, but they took a long time to process the order from when I placed it to when they shipped it, and they told me after they shipped it that one of the yarns had been discontinued and they ran out in between my order and filling my order, so it wasn't included in my order, which is fine. I mean, honestly, I don't need more yarn. I didn't need what I got, but I was a little annoyed because I think I actually ended up paying, I was adding more stuff to my cart because I wanted to get that Webs discount, which if you spend a certain amount, you get a discount, like a percentage off. And I think they actually ended up having to, they took off that discount because I wasn't spending over $100 because they took out the yarn. Whatever. Like I said, this is totally a first world problem, and I will continue shopping at Webs. I was a little bit like, so I paid more per skein, and I didn't get the skein I wanted. But really, in the end, I spent less money because I didn't get that other skein, and I don't need more sock yarn, and it was more stripy sock yarn. In my defense, it was going to be a pair of socks for my husband. I was going to make myself Halloween socks and then him Halloween socks, and that was going to be cute. And honestly, it was a great plan. There was no way I was ever going to finish that in time for Halloween. And so I was probably just going to be Halloween socks for me. Sorry, I keep bashing my husband. Anyway, what did I get? I got some Regia 4-ply in a tweed. This is charcoal tweed. I got 2 skeins because it's a sock weight, and but it's not enough for 2 socks out of 1. And it's 70% superwash wool, 25% polyamide, and 5% viscose. There you go, Regia. It's in the charcoal colorway. I think this is a discontinued yarn. I was doing a lot of sale shopping. That's what I do. I'm cheap. But it has this pretty flecks of tweedy beautifulness. And I really want a pair of just classy rustic. I think that's going to be the new name for my style. Classy rustic. Yeah, some classy rustic socks, like what you'd wear to a cabin in New Hampshire, and then also out for a hot toddy at the luxurious bar in The Shining. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I really like them. See that? Cute flex. So that's Regia 4-ply tweed, or Dreifadig. That's actually what the label says. Whatever. I totally don't speak German. Also, but all the yarn I got was German. I'm on a German kick. This is Opal. They did a themed series on like Handwerk, like crafts and occupations in the craft field. I guess people in Germany are a little weird. I don't know. No, I'm sorry. I love German people. What? Anyway, that's a weird theme for a color or a collection, but I like the results. This one is Mauer, which is bricklayer, wall builder. I only know that because I have a friend from college whose last name was Mauer. And yeah, that was like one German word that I knew. And there's a bunch of stuff in German about it that I guess would tell me why they decided to do a color based on bricklayers. Whatever. It's an orange, gray. This is coming up a little redder, but it does have some reddishness to it. So it's orange, gray, and black stripes. And that's my Halloween sock. There we go. That's a little truer. This is going to be my Halloween socks. I love wearing kooky socks. I don't own a single pair of solid colored socks, but I also don't have very many hand knit socks that are for me. I don't know if you've noticed, but the whole duration of my show, my podcast, I've been knitting so many socks for other people and only made one pair for me. Povero mio. I'm so sad. Anyway, that means that I need to make myself some more socks. Stat. And stripier socks are better socks. Halloween socks. It's going to be great. So that's Opal. Opal Sockenwolle in Mauer. That's Maurer. Anyway, that's exciting. And then this wasn't on sale, but I was just kind of smitten with it. So you may have seen this on other podcasts, kind of making the round. Opal has done a series based on The Little Prince, Le Petit Prince. In German, Der kleine Prinz. Look at that. I can learn languages from my wool. This is a hobby that not only gets you warmer, it makes you smarter. So this is in, I think this color just had a number. I don't think it has a name. Sorry. Here's my receipt. Oh, I'm going to try to find out. It's not my receipt. Sorry for the pause. This is things that you should do before you start your podcast. Okay, handwork, no. Okay, it is color 7763, and it is labeled turquoise, purple, gold, which is what it is. Turquoise, purple, and gold. These are so not my colors. It's ridiculous. Like, I would never pick these. But what happened was I was going through all the Little Prince colorways on webs, and it's just like, when you look at this, it's really hard to picture the finished sock. And they do give you this little picture. It's like in a big chart, or maybe they didn't even give you this. I don't think they did. So it was really hard for me to imagine what this was going to look like. So I went through Ravelry and I looked at all of the Petit Prince colorways that are on there. Like, did a search in the yarn tab and looked at projects of people who have used this yarn. And so I got to see what all the socks looked like knit up. And there were a couple that I really liked, and they weren't all available. And this was the one that I really liked that was available. So I'm going to try to... Well, that's their rendition of what this looks like knit up. And it's nice. It's a good it feels like not the softest thing in the world, but hard wearing. This is also... No, this is not also. This is 75% wool, 25% polyamide. It is not machine washable. It's not superwash, but that's fine because I don't ever put my socks in the washing machine anyway. I always wash them by hand. My hand knit socks. I just think that they're going to last longer if I do that. And I put enough effort into it that, God damn it, they're going to last forever. So here you go. Isn't that pretty? More socks for me. Sorry. Having a little bit of a Gollum. Sorry, I almost missed it. Almost couldn't remember. Having a Gollum moment. And then I also threw some of these in. These are just cheapo cable needles because I can't find mine, which I may have lamented before on the show. I lost my cable needles somewhere in my move. They are someplace, and I will find them eventually. I just can't find them now. And if I'm going to be making a cabled baby sweater, I should probably have cable needles. And it's funny, I was to kill time before I got my cable needles to make my cable sweater, I made a heavily cabled hat, which was honestly one of the most annoying things that I could have done. But you can, because you can do, I'm sure you already know this, you can do cables without a cable needle. And it's a technique, and some people say it's easier or faster. I find that it is slower and more frustrating, where you're dropping stitches off your needles and then like physically rearranging them and putting them back on your needles. And it's just a little bit unnerving, especially if you're knitting in the round and you're at the beginning of that section, because you've got something pulling, because you're between two needles. So one section is sort of the reason why you get ladders in your working around if you're not careful. It's kind of pulling at that join. And so you've already got something pulling, and now you're dropping stitches off intentionally, and they're just dying to unravel on you. So that's not what I wanted to do for my whole baby sweater, so I just bought myself some $1.79 cable needles. There you go. It's exciting stuff. Okay. Oh, this is going on for a long time. I really, really, really wanted to do this. Should I do this? It's a review of this great, great book called New American Knits. All right, I'll just give you the highlights. So it's a great book. I wanted to spend more time on this. Why am I so chatty? It's by Amy Christophers. It just recently came out in July. Interweave published it. $24.99 in the US. It's cheaper on Amazon if you're a bargain shopper. And it is like, it's like a whole book of sweaters that I want to make, because it's American sportswear. It's the American aesthetic. It's like that, Polo Ralph Lauren or Tommy Hilfiger, if you need a reference. It is just like a stylish, everyday uniform of casual, tailored, crisp clothes. Every single thing in here is one of those things that you could instantly put into your wardrobe. You can dress it up, you can dress it down. You'll always look good wearing it, kind of things. So I'm going to try to breeze through, not show you everything. There's some great techniques in here. She uses a mixture of, there's some seamless. I'm just going to show you quickly. That's the O'Keefe Raglan. No, Georgia sweater. Georgia sweater. I didn't say any of that right. Every work is named for a different American artist, and that somehow was inspirational to her, or that somehow reminds her of this piece. This is a really simple sweater. It's just a raglan sweater, but it looks really nice. She does a really nice job with the tailoring of it, and with the details. That motif is that slip stitch crochet motif is something that you can do, or you can freeform your own, or you can leave it off if you just want a classic raglan sweater. So that's where it starts. There's some difficult patterns and there's some easy patterns. It's a nice mix. And there's also accessories as well as sweaters. And this is my favorite accessory, so I wanted to show you this. It's the Alvarez hat. It's Fair Isle. It's true Fair Isle with 2 strands or 2 colors for every round. There's never more than 2. And it's just a really pretty pattern. I think it's really charming and interesting and different, and kind of has a Southwest feel to it as opposed to a Nordic feel. There's one more picture there. Well, it's really getting dark out. Sorry, guys. Oh, I gotta hurry up. And that, I should tell you about yarn and stuff. Oh my God. That sweater that I showed you is the sport weight on 6s and 4s. It's seamless, and it is at a fiber company, Savannah. That hat that I just showed you is also sport weight out of Harris, New England, Shetland in 4 colors. And, no, 5. 1 main color and 4 contrast colors. And that's on 3s and 1s. Worked in the round. Some interesting constructions too, not just your standard sweater. This is a shrug. It's called the Wyeth shrug. That's what it looks like. This is it's a little bit like slouchy, but in a way that I think is really fashionable. This is one of those pieces that might not be a timeless wardrobe piece like some of the other ones, but it looks really nice now. So that's a worsted weight, so that wouldn't even take a crazy amount of time. And that's Fiber Company Terra, which is a baby alpaca merino silk. And it needs a minimum of 9 skeins. So that's quite a bit of yarn. Well, it's a little expensive, but worth it. Anyway, it's on 9s, and it is seamless. There's grafting involved. But you can handle that, because you guys are all experts. Okay, this is, I think, one of the standout pieces, and I love it. It's the Sarah turtleneck. It's a minimalist pullover with really interesting construction around the neckline. I hope that I can get a picture that shows it. Can you see it? It has... No, it's not coming up. Shoot! It has a really interesting neckline that kind of comes up from several places to meet at this turtleneck. And it gives it a really nice structured look. And if you want to see a better picture, go to Ravelry. I'm sorry, that's a terrible thing for someone reviewing a book to say. It's worsted weight out of Shelter, which is Brooklyn tweed yarn. Minimum of 7 skeins of that worsted weight. And it's knit on 7s. And it is seamless, also with a provisional cast on and some, I think, some grafting. No, it has a provisional cast on an I-cord bind off. So not super technical. And some classic stuff. I mean, just like some really simple things, not simple, but simple looking things, like a really nice hoodie with a zipper, and there's instructions on how to put a zipper in. There's a, I'll just show you this one. It's a Sergeant pullover. It's not Sergeant like the rank Sergeant like John Singer. And it is Fair Isle with a faux raglan shaping. So these sleeves are actually seamed onto the body of the sweater, but they have a raglan shape. So there's more structure there, and it also allows you to work the Fair Isle, which is actually worked flat from the armpits up, in the front and the back. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge, but you're up to it. I know I am. And it's something I would, I've never actually done Fair Isle knit flat. I don't know what that would look like, what that would feel like. And I think, it's worth an experiment. So yeah, and it has seamed faux raglan sleeves, and then the collar is worked after you you seam those sleeves on. That was out of, that was out of Rowan Felted Tweed DK. And it's knit on 3s and 5s. Okay, here's a real standout. This is like a showstopper, in my opinion. This is the cover pattern. The Nevelson lace pullover. It is a seamed... Wait, I thought this was seamless. Hang on. Oh, set-in sleeves. I'm wrong. So it is seamed. They're set in sleeves, which gives it a nice tailored look. Amy Christophers really likes using set-in sleeves, I've noticed from various patterns that she's done, because it does give a really crisp look, and it pays off. Especially here where you need some structure for this lace, the lace front, because that will kind of pull out of shape pretty easily, I would imagine. So you get some structure from in the sleeves and the shoulders through that. It's really pretty. It's out of Lorna's Laces Sport Weight. Lorna's Laces is very pretty, always. They do a beautiful job of dyeing. And I was just like, oh God, I love the way that looks. Love it. It takes a minimum of 7 skeins of Shepherd Sport, that's what it's called, on 2s and 4s. And that is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sweater. I would love to make that. And someday I will. Some like classic cardigan, like that classic 1950s sort of shape, but with a little cable detail that runs down the sides. I think that's really pretty. Okay. That is the Hopper cardigan. Let me get a good shot there. There you go. Hopper cardigan. Knit out of a worsted weight, Quince & Company Lark, which is their wool. 9 skeins or more, and on 5s and 7s. That one is seamed as well. 99% sure. I did look at this before. Yeah, that is seamed. That has set-in sleeves. Almost done here. Okay, we're going to skip to the end. Okay, this is the Jasper pullover. And I don't know if my personal styles come through on this show before, but I am a sucker for stripes. Blue and white stripes. Open up my closet and it's like black, 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 blue and white stripe, blue and white stripe, blue and white stripe, black, black, black. That's really like just, I can't help myself. It's ridiculous. So blue and white stripes, yay! In a drop shoulder, which I think is really cute. I just love the look of this kind of tunic length, stripy sweater. She did it in Louet Gem Sport, which is a merino wool blend. I'm not sure about, I always kind of hesitate when I'm going to substitute different fiber content yarns, but I would love to see this in a linen or another summer weight wool. But that is done in 100% merino, the sample. Minimum 4 skeins of the main color, which is blue, no, which is gray, and a minimum 3 skeins of the contrast, which is the navy. So, and that's 4s and 5s. This one is seamed, in case you couldn't tell from the way those stripes work. It's seamed, oh wait, no, they pick up. Wait a minute, I may have made an assumption, and you know what happens when you do that. You make yourself look like an idiot. Okay, no, those sleeves are picked up, which is cool. And then the shoulders are joined with a 3-needle bind off. Wait, what? Sleeve. Yeah, shoulders are joined with a 3-needle bind off, and then you pick up stitches for the sleeves. So that's even easier. Yeah, so that's the Jasper. That's my fave. Did I say that 3 times now? I may have. Anyway, New American Knits. This is if you're into that kind of classic sportswear look, this has a lot of sweaters that I think would see everyday wear, not just a special thing. And they're not crazy complicated. It's not like a all over cable or an all over Fair Isle with a heavy, I don't know, or in targe or double knitting or something where it's going to be a lot of work. These are all like pretty simple and straightforward. I think she did a really nice job of making these kind of elegant but casual pieces. Amy Christophers, that's Interweave, and they're the publisher, and it's $24.99 in the US, $27.99 if you live in Canada, because we, I don't know, we like to charge you folks more. I just remember I lived in Canada for a year, not a long time, but while I was there, the US dollar and the Canadian dollar, the value of the US dollar fell and the value of the Canadian dollar rose, and as a result, all the things that were made in America, like books that had different prices, just annoyingly cost $2 more. It wasn't like the value was the same. I was just paying $2 extra. It's a little annoying. So my sympathies to anyone in Canada who may have had to deal with this problem. Okay, we're getting really late here. It's dark out now, and I've been talking forever. Sorry, I had a lot to talk about. Okay, that's it. That was episode 18 of Franklin Fiber. I hope you liked it. I hope that you can still see me and it's not too dark. And tune in next week. It will actually be next week, I promise. Until then, please join the group on Ravelry. You can find it by searching for Franklin Fiber in the group section. You can also friend me there, Lovey Lamb, Loveeelamb. And it's the same on Instagram. That's my Instagram account, so you can see pictures of me like, I don't know, unpacking boxes. No, it's actually a little bit better than that. I don't document every moment of my life. Don't worry. Sorry, I have a tendency to ramble. So that brings us to the end. Yes. Oh my God, wait, before I end, I also forgot to say that in the Ravelry group, we're doing, I am going to start officially a baby sweater, I might just be baby item knit along for the month of September. That's when I have to make this sweater. So I'm going to do, I'm going to start a thread over there. It'll just be a place for us to encourage each other, cheer each other on. There will be at least one prize that'll probably be randomly drawn from people who complete it. And it's just going to be a fun little place for people to get together and work on, work on a similar project. So if you have any interest in doing that, or if you just want to see what people are making, it's just it's just going to be a fun little thing. So go over to the group, join in for the baby knit cow, and yeah. So until next week, stay crafty. Bye, everybody.